Hey, Nick, we're live on Facebook.
We sure are live and in the flesh virtually.
Yeah, last time it took us about, I don't know, 7 or 8 minutes to
That
to to get on here,
This time
which was
right
kind
on
of
time.
which was kind of a miracle that it only took 7 or 8 minutes because we found out, at first it was like we don't know why it's not working, and then yeah, we were
We
digging
were
into
like,
all kinds of
yeah,
things, Googling like why
settings
won't
and
this
Google.
work, and
Yeah, yeah.
we found a setting in the group admin that like we had to turn on something or other. I don't know what. Um, but now we didn't have to turn it on again. So that's that
Here
makes
we
it
are.
easier.
Here we are. So yeah, so live in the flesh, and it's an exciting day to be going live because today the new IHG One rewards, milestone benefits, and suite upgrades and all that went live, and that's exciting news, right, Greg? How are you excited about that, or
Well,
what?
we went live. IHD went live.
Everybody went live.
Everyone's going live. Yeah, I mean it's super exciting. I don't know. I mean,
Exciting-ish. It
yeah,
could
I mean,
be.
we don't know yet, right?
Yeah,
So it
it's
will be
early.
exciting, I think, if Diamond members really get, the free hot breakfast all the time as a good perk, and if people who spend 40 nights in IHG hotels get the lounge benefit, and if that lounge benefit really turns out to be useful, like we don't know yet
Like
how
if
many
lounges are open, and then
exactly.
if there are more than three lounges, because who knows how many lounges there are, right? I mean,
We
like
don't know.
we don't know.
We've asked IHG for that information, and they said they would get it to us. We don't have it yet, so
Yeah, they're
I
getting it
think,
real slowly. They're sending it like carrier pigeon, I think.
yeah, maybe the
Yeah.
the lounge where they assemble that information is closed, and so they're
We're waiting for that
so
one to reopen,
nothing they
and then
can
we'll
do
find
until
out.
that opens.
Right,
Right, right.
right.
All right.
Yeah. So
We have a question
we have a question.
from
Great.
Josh.
All right.
If if you can only have one credit card for the rest of your life, which one would it be and why?
Okay. If I can only have one for the rest of my life, Capital One Venture card, because or Venture X, if I can keep the Venture X with the current benefits, because it's got all the benefits when I need to travel well. It gives good return on everyday spend, get access to transfer partners, and I can reimburse travel at 1 cent per point. It's like got everything. So if I only have one, that'd be it. Greg?
Yeah, that's a good answer. For Sapphire Reserve, similar reasons, but Hyatt. I can transfer points to Hyatt.
You see, I could stay at Hyatt with my Venture X and reimburse myself at 1 cent a point and live
Yeah,
with it. I could live with it
yeah,
if I
yeah.
had to. If
Yeah,
I had to.
but I'll be in
Thankfully,
a
I don't
nicer
have to.
suite because I'm going to use my points to upgrade.
But you're only going to earn 1 point per dollar spent everywhere, so it's going to be a slog to earn
Hey,
those.
3 points at hotels,
That's
so
true. True.
and at restaurants. Okay.
10 points for me when I book through Capital One Travels. So, ha, take that,
Same
Greg, the
for
frequent
me if I
miler.
book through Ultimate
Okay.
Rewards travel, but I'm
All
not
right. All
going to
right.
because for
So
all
why
kinds
would
of
you?
good reasons.
Why
I
would
read a
you?
post
Yeah.
by you that said,
No,
booking through the portal doesn't work out so well,
no,
and
definitely
that's been
doesn't.
my experience too.
Yeah.
It's been so frustrating. It's been true with Capital One portal too that I've been trying and trying, like, to use the $300 credit on my wife's Capital One Venture
Venture
X,
X.
and every time I go in there, the hotel I want to stay at is not there, or it costs a lot more than it does elsewhere, and it's just hasn't worked yet. It's frustrating.
Got to use it for flights, Greg. Got to use it for flights.
Yeah, yeah. I usually
Probably.
use miles for flights,
Yeah,
so
me too. Me too. Yeah, well,
yeah.
what are you gonna do? All right, so that was the first question. So we got another question, probably, right? So question number 2, Grant says, "Hey, Greg and Nick, greetings from a Vacasa vacation rental in Maui. Hashtag
Nice.
jealous." Very,
Yeah.
very nice, Grant. So let's see. He says, "My question for you is, what summer trip are you most looking forward to, and why? Safe travels."
All right. Well, I mean, I'm just back from the one I was anticipating the most. I know it's not technically summer already, but it was in May. So yeah, not really summer. But anyway, I went to France to Lyon, and what I learned was called the Jura region. You have to say the. It's sort of like, you don't say I'm going to Alps, you say I'm going to the Alps. It's like that
Right.
with the Jura.
The Jura.
So it was really fantastic. Lyon in France is known as the gastronomic capital of the world. So you have all this like amazing dining. And the Jura region is known for its wine and cheese, Comté, and all of that was terrific. We ate and drank, and it was wonderful. How about you?
It looked great. It looked great. I saw the pictures, and I didn't know that Chef Bocuse was from Lyon. I don't know if I said his name right, but I know that
Paul Bocuse, yeah.
There you go, Paul Bocuse. The restaurant that I really enjoy at the Culinary Institute of America is named after him, the Bocuse. Mm-hmm. So, and food was fantastic. So I'm sure that you had a great time. I saw all the pictures. Food looked terrific. So
it was amazing.
For me, I was very excited. I'm visiting my family right now, my parents, my sister, and I was excited about that. So that's happening now. So if I'm looking forward to something, I guess the one that I'm looking forward to the most is a European trip that I have coming up. But you'll read more about that on Frequent Miler as the trip happens. So that'll be coming up in a few weeks. So, all right. So we're going to try to rapid fire through these. If you heard my phone ring a couple of times, it's because I've got it set up so that we're going to have an alarm that goes off that cuts off the time. So I'm going to give Greg well, I was going to try and wait until the next minute went off, but I think that probably he's going to be able to answer the next one fast enough to get there before the alarm goes off. So we're going to get like 1 minute per question, try to tear through a whole bunch of them. So question number 3 comes in from Laura, I think. Does a Goldbelly gift card trigger the Amex Gold credit, the dining credit on the Gold card?
We don't know yet. What we know is that an Amex rep has told Stephen no, that it won't work, but as we know, sometimes reps are wrong, or so it might work, but haven't tested it yet. Don't know, unfortunately.
Oh, no. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next question already. And there goes the alarm. So you've got 1 minute here from the time I read it, not even. Question number 4, Billy asks, Greg, what is your son's credit card strategy now that he's graduated? Is he following in your footsteps? Does he not care much about the points and miles game? I know you were pretty active in managing his strategy or setup when he was in college. You got a minute? Go.
He is not active in it at all. I've tried to get him interested, but it's just not his thing right now. So I still manage some things for him. But, mostly I just leave it alone and he's not optimizing. So not much to say on that front.
There you go. All right. I figured you'd probably get that one in. So I guess question number 5, I'm going to ask you this one too, because I don't know the answer. So another Jeff asks, can you book Delta Premium Select via Amex? I'm looking to use that $300 deal, which was the $300 back on 1,000 or more.
Yeah, absolutely. You can. And Amex frequently has better pricing on Delta Premium Select than Delta directly or anywhere else, because they have, that, I don't know what it's called. They have that discount program for
the International Airline program.
There you go.
Or inside.
So it's a great way to do it. And that way you can not only use that credit. Well, if you have the business platinum card, that's the ideal way to do it, because you get that international airfare deal, and you can actually even pay with points and get the 35% rebate on points. All that works out great. If you don't have it, you might not get a discount on the flight, but you can book it through them.
All right. Very good.
All right. Derek asks, can you explain the downgrade path for the Amex Platinum Business and Personal to avoid clawbacks?
Yeah. So the path is this. There's no downgrade path. There's nothing worthwhile to downgrade to from those cards. So if you want to avoid getting your welcome bonus clawed back, then the wisdom is you should probably keep it open at least a full year. I'm going to give myself a few seconds beyond that because I only got a few seconds. So at least a full year, 12 full months before you cancel it. If you've accepted a retention offer, then you should keep it again a year from the date you have accepted the retention offer. But there's really not a good downgrade option, because if you downgrade from the platinum, it's to the gold or the green card. Both of them have annual fees, and you don't want to lock yourself out of getting a welcome bonus on one of those cards in future years. So if you've never had it before, it's not worth downgrading. Now, the one exception is if you will find value in the business gold or the personal gold card, then you might downgrade to that and hope to get an upgrade bonus again in the future to the platinum, or be happy if you've already gotten the welcome bonus before on one of those gold cards. Well, then that might make sense to downgrade. So you'd wait a year until a year has passed since you first signed up for the card. When your annual fee becomes due again, you could downgrade within 30 days of the fee posting. Yeah. Okay.
Very good.
Next question up. Let's see. Here we go. Perfect. Is having a balance on all of your credit cards bad for your credit? Minute. Go.
Oh boy, it's bad for your finances to have. Do you mean carrying a balance so that you end up paying interest and everything? That would certainly be bad. The problem with having a balance, even if you pay it off, is that it increases the bigger the balance, the bigger your utilization ratio, and that hurts your credit score. But if you're talking about having some on a whole bunch of different cards, that it doesn't matter. It just matters what your total balance is as far as how it affects your credit score. But I certainly don't recommend running a balance and not paying off your card each month. That's the way to win the game, is to make sure that you don't end up paying fees to the credit card company, and you get all the rewards.
There you go. Great.
All right. Next is from Carl. Which points would you pay a lot more than RRV for because of outsized value opportunities? How much would Greg pay for Hyatt points?
All right. So I'm going to jump in before Greg answers that. And I'm going to say none of them, because I can generate all of the points for less than RRV by using various manufactured spending techniques that we've written about. So I don't think that there are any of them where I would pay more than RRV to buy them. I guess I could see an argument being made for Hyatt. I could see an argument being made for any of them if you have an opportunity for outsized value, but I certainly wouldn't speculatively pay more than RRV. The only time I would pay for the points is when I don't have enough time to generate those points cheaply enough, or they're on such a great sale that I can't generate them more cheaply, which never really happens. Or like I have a redemption right now and I need them right now, and this is going to save me money over paying the cash rate. The only times I would consider it. Greg, how much would you pay for Hyatt points?
Well, I mean, Hyatt points, pretty similar answer to you. I mean, the problem with answering that for Hyatt is there's so many ways to get the points aside from buying them that it just hasn't even crossed my mind to buy them. But I'll tell you what does come up sometimes is things like Marriott points, as far as where you might buy them for more than the RRV. So, they've been on sale lately with I don't know, 40% bonus or something. It makes them about 0.9 cents each, which is more than our RRV. But if you didn't have enough points and you were about to book a stay where you're getting well over 1 cent per point, it very well could make sense to do that. And I've had real examples lately where that makes sense. Choice points, I've seen similar things as well there. So yeah, there are cases here and there, but it always comes down to what Nick already said, which is you have to have like an immediate need where you'd be getting more value than what you're paying. And then, yeah, the RRV doesn't matter if you're going to get more value by paying whatever amount, do it.
Right. There you go. Time's up, Greg. All right. So I'm going to have you read the next one because this is probably one for me to answer.
All right. Brian asks, can you transfer Capital One cash back from my spouse to my Venture X in order to convert the cash back to miles? I think I remember Nick saying he was going to try this, but never heard the result, if it was possible, and if so, how to do it.
Yep. It's all in that post. So if you go to the post, it's a huge convert Capital One cash back to miles, I think is what it's called. If you type in the search box in frequentmiler.com, you hit the little search, the little, magnifying glass icon, and you just type in huge Capital One, then I think you'll probably find it. Probably one of the first couple of results there for those words. So yes, absolutely. My wife has converted cash back from her Spark Cash card. She just calls the number on the back of her card, gives them her card number, tells them she wants to move cash back from that card to my Venture card, and she needs to have my card number. So whoever has the cash back will need to call. They're going to need their card number and the card number that they're transferring the cash back to. And yes, you can transfer cash back to miles, but not the other way around. So it's that simple. Just a quick phone call. Never had an agent who didn't know how to do it. It always happens really quickly. Takes just a couple minutes and it's instant.
It's an awesome feature. It made such a difference in how we value Capital One miles, or Capital One's ecosystem, I guess we should say, because it makes it possible to earn at a great rate for things like dining with your saver card and then transfer over. That's awesome.
And now I'm taking up too much time, but and now I found myself happier to use the Spark Cash card because I earn it as cash back, and so we can take that as cash if and when we want cash. And if we need miles, we just convert what we need to miles. So I'd rather spend on that card than on the venture cards right now, because it's cash automatically and only miles if I want them to be miles.
Sounds good.
Okay, next question. So Brett asks, what's the best personal MasterCard to sign up for now? I need the MasterCard for Simply Miles and Curve.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? If you search our site for the best MasterCard offers, something like that, you'll find a page that actually just ranks, just like on our best offers page. It ranks all the offers based on first year value of the offer, and you could look there. Off the top of my head, I think it might be something like the City Premier 60K offer, I think, is the current offer for that one. But you know, I would personally, it doesn't matter. I would personally go to that page that I was just talking about anyway, if I was in that situation. So what I know off the top of my head is sort of immaterial. But I do think that there's an advantage to going with Citi if you're investing in the Curve card, because they have so many cards that earn no fee cards that earn bonuses in different ways. And so, you know, the Premier is the only one that has a good bonus. And then once you're in there, then you can sign up for the other cards later and be getting, 2X with the double cash, 5X with the, what is it called? The custom cash, and so on.
Very good. Okay. Let's see. Next question comes from Tyler. It says, would you sacrifice one of your 5 Amex credit card slots to downgrade the Delta Gold card to the Delta Blue and stay on Amex's good side instead of canceling after year 1 to collect more Hilton points? So I think the question here is, they're concerned that if they cancel their Delta Gold card after only having it for a year, that they'll make the Amex approval algorithm unhappy, and that they won't get approved for cards in the future. So they're talking about downgrading it, but then not being able to open a new card. Or do they cancel the Delta Gold so that they can open up a Hilton card and earn a bunch of points as part of the welcome bonus?
Right. Because Amex will let you usually have a max of 5 credit cards, and they sort of randomly sometimes let people have 6 or whatever, but there is a limit, and so whether to hold that place so that Amex doesn't get on your doesn't think you're on the bad side of them. Wow, it's tough. I mean, it is a real problem that if you have been regularly signing up for cards with Amex and canceling after a year, that you could get into pop-up prison. If you don't still have other Amex cards that you're spending a lot on, then I'd say, yeah, you might want to do what you said and avoid canceling that for now and see what happens going forward. If you do have other cards that you're spending a lot on with Amex, you should be fine with this one.
Agreed. And just to be clear for people who are less familiar, there's a difference between Amex credit cards and what Amex now calls pay over time cards. We traditionally used to call them charge cards, but now they call them pay over time cards. So the platinum card, for instance, or the gold card, those are pay over time cards. Those don't count towards your credit card, like I say credit card limit, the limit in terms of the number of credit cards you can hold. You can hold more charge cards, but we're talking about the cards that are revolvers, as they may say, cards with a revolving limit. So the difference typically in design is the ones with the Centurion right in the center are the pay over time cards, and the other ones are credit cards.
Yeah, it's also this isn't 100% true, but it's mostly true that co-branded cards are credit cards, and whereas like Amex's primary membership rewards cards are mostly charge cards, and they're charge cards if they're named after metals, like
gold or platinum,
gold or platinum.
Green.
Well, all right. So there's some exceptions. Yeah.
All right. So anyway, so there you go. That's that. There you have it. Susie says, does it hurt my teenager's credit score? Both are under 18 if I cancel their authorized user cards? That's a great question.
No, I don't think so. I mean,
but maybe indirectly, right?
Yeah. Well,
average age of account.
Yeah, it's hard to say because so I mean the advantage of having these authorized user cards on young people's credit reports is then it shows like a credit history basically, even if it's authorized user history. But my understanding is that canceled cards take like something like 7 years before they fall off entirely. So it's hard to imagine that it would make any real difference. But
Well, you know that,
I don't know
yeah,
for sure.
and I think you're right about that. The thing that I don't know, I realize as this question comes up, I know that they hang around in the report for 7 years, but I don't know, do they still count towards average age of account? And they certainly don't count towards utilization percentage. So, if they're going to carry a balance on any other card, and I say carry a balance, I mean even just let a balance report at statement time, then less possible credit limit that counts against their utilization percentage. So in other words, if you got cards that you aren't going to carry a balance on, you're going to have a zero balance all the time, that helps keep their utilization score low. So temporarily their score could drop if they've got balances on there.
It's possible. So the quick answer, we don't know.
We don't know. Yeah.
All right. Stephen writes in, sign up bonus question. Submitted my application for the Bonvoy Business in November while they were advertising 125K points and 250K certificates. Card was applied for on the last day of that offer, but approved after that offer expired. I was surprised to find 75K points deposited in my account after hitting a lower spend threshold, which was the new offer. I have screenshots of the landing page before and after application. Is Amex supposed to honor the sign-up bonus at the time of application or time of approval?
I think the time of application, I would follow up with them and I would send them the screenshots, and you likely have an email that shows like the date you applied. That'll say, usually the email would have come and said that your application's under review. So you should have the date and timestamp on that email. I'd follow up with all that information with Amex and give them an opportunity to make it right, because I think they probably will. Because if they don't, then you probably have decent standing to file a Consumer Financial Protection Bureau complaint, which I wouldn't jump to that yet. I would start by just giving them an opportunity, because they may well make it right, like I said. If not, I think that they would probably bend under the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau complaint, because you've got all of that evidence, so to speak, that you applied under the old offer.
Right. They do not want to be sued for not honoring their advertisements. If you need to, if the person you call is not helping you, ask to speak to a supervisor.
Yep.
It's not just because they might be more helpful. They have the power to do more than the first line callers call reps.
Yep. Yeah, I think you'll probably be okay in that situation long term. I'm sorry that it stinks that it didn't work out right, because I think usually that just should have worked out right. Although we've had a few reports lately of people who are frustrated by Amex bonuses that didn't either post quickly enough, or there's been some odd anomalies here and there. So follow up with Amex. All right, next question. When you cancel a flight on Amex Travel with the Business Platinum and receive a credit, will Amex claw back the 35% points rebate? So here we're talking about using the Business Platinum benefit, which is you pay with points for the flight. If you're in a premium cabin, any airline, if you're in economy class, only with your selected airline, you use points at a value of 1 cent per point, and then you get a rebate of 35% of the points you've used. Now we're asking, if you then cancel that flight, what happens with the rebate? Do you know, Greg?
Yeah. No, they're not going to claw it back. You're going to have some kind of, it depends what airline you book with, and it depends on a lot of things, how the credit comes back to you. But I don't think they're going to claw it back. So I don't know if the credit came back to the credit card itself.
Yeah. If you had if you had a refundable fare, right?
Yeah, if you had a refundable fare, then what would happen? I don't think they'll claw it back.
I don't think
so.
Either. I doubt it. I mean, not with other types of points, anyways. I doubt it would get clawed back with that either, probably.
But if you did it repeatedly on purpose as a way of cashing out your points, I think they're gonna do something.
Show you their displeasure.
Yes. Yeah, I wouldn't do that. But if it was like one flight and you're wondering what would happen, I think you'd be all right.
Probably. All right. Ricardo asks, who do you tip at hotels and how much? Do you tip front desk if you get an upgrade? Do you tip front desk before you have a room in order to get an upgrade? People who make your room, how do you know who to tip? Valet when they take your car or when they bring it? room service after all those fees are added or not? So what do you do? What's your tipping etiquette, Greg?
Oh my gosh. I hate the whole tipping culture because, and it's not because I hate parting with my money. It's because I hate the unknown. Like it's you don't know what you're supposed to do, and it makes it all very uncomfortable for me. What do? I tip. Yeah, I tip the valet when they bring the car back. I don't tip them when I hand them the key.
Oh, really? Oh
Yeah.
man, I tip them when they take the car away. I don't want them to get a scratch. I want them to park that thing
Really?
carefully. That's the person that really matters to me. The person who brought it back, they already brought it back in one piece.
So you don't tip them?
No, it's not that I don't tip them, but I typically end up tipping both of them, much to my
Okay.
wife's dismay.
See, it never even occurred to me to tip them on the way out.
Well, yeah, the person that brings the car in and parks it, that's the person that I really care about being careful. That's the one I really want to take care of.
That makes some sense. Yeah.
I mean, if the car matters anyway. If I'm driving a car that I care about them not scratching up.
Right.
So
I've never tipped a front desk person.
No, I don't
ever.
think I have either. No, I take that back. I've done the $20 sandwich in Las Vegas before.
You've done that. See, I have no interest in doing that kind of game.
Yeah.
Did it work for you? So
yeah.
you slipped them a 20 or 50 and asked for an upgrade?
Yep. So I did 20 at what used to be Imperial Palace and is now the Link, I think. And that got me a suite there. And I did a 50 at Luxor, I think, once. Now I know you're going to be like, more at Luxor? Why? But in that case, I was with a group of people. It was a bachelor party. And we got a nice upgrade to it wasn't a suite, but nicer rooms in the tower. And then at one time I did 100 somewhere. And I can't honestly remember where, but I ended up with a suite there too. So maybe that was silly. I probably shouldn't have done that. But anyway, so I did. But that's only the only time. Well, only in Las Vegas, because that's a common thing, I think, in Las Vegas.
Yeah. And then I usually leave some money for housekeepers, but I have to admit, sometimes I've forgotten. It's just not something like on top of mind. So
if you leave money for housekeeping, do you do it each day or do you do it at the end?
I would like to do it each day, but the chance of me remembering to do it each day is extremely slim. And also happening to have cash around to do that daily just doesn't happen.
That's the bigger problem. I try to do it daily if I'm going to do it because
that's my intent. It just doesn't happen that way.
If I'm going to do it. But I see housekeeping, I'm more likely to remember and take care of that. It's the person that brings the bags to my room that I'm like, I never have cash in my pocket. So then I have to like dig through my bags while they're bringing them in to find cash. Oh man, it's so annoying. And and then I'm like, oh man, I only have a 20 be crazy, right? If you've ever seen that clip, 20 be crazy. It's like a Curb Your Enthusiasm thing. So I think
I remember that. Yeah. I think when going to a hotel, knowing that they're going to grab the bags when, it's one of those nicer ones, then I start like worrying about, where's the money? Where's the cash? And if I'm with my wife, then she usually has she'll hand it to me because she doesn't want to do the tipping. So that's how it works in our household.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That was a long one to be like, we tip everybody.
Yeah. What happened to our timer?
Yeah, no, I definitely, I shut it off because I was like, we're not starting like at the minute. So it keeps going off in the middle. And I felt like that might sound annoying. So I finally shut it off.
I can barely hear it at all. It's not going to come across.
All right. We'll get it back on then. All right. So next question, Jose asks, do you recommend point and miles enthusiasts track their own redemption history to track their own personal average redemption values? So I think what Jose is asking is, should you track each redemption you make in order to keep track of how much value you got from your miles? And if yes, I'm going to add the question, what do you base that on? On the cash price of the ticket or something else?
Right. I mean, I don't do that. I do know some readers do that, and I think that's great to have that information. So I certainly wouldn't say don't do it, but at the same time, it's like, I'm not going to tell people to do something I don't do. What about you?
No, A, it's too much work, and B, it's too subjective because I mean, what are you going to compare it to the cash price every single time? I mean, you're not going to pay the cash price for that Emirates first class ticket. So like, so you're going to write that down and tell yourself that you got 40 cents a point redemption value. I mean, I guess maybe that makes you feel good, I guess, then do it. But otherwise, it's kind of a meaningless number, I think.
Yeah, or maybe they write down the amount that they would have been willing to pay for
Yeah, you could.
business
Yeah.
class or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
All right,
Time's up on
going
that.
on to
Mhm.
Zach.
Okay.
If I got United Explorer card 2.5 years ago and product changed it to the United Gateway card, I'm eligible for a new United Explorer bonus, correct?
I'm not even going to start the timer. Yes. Well, you know what? Yes, but it's not because you got it 2.5 years ago. It's because I know since you got it 2.5 years ago, that means you got the bonus more than 24 months ago. It doesn't matter when you got the card. It matters when you got the bonus, but you only would have had a 3-month spending window to earn the bonus. So if you got it 2.5 years ago, that's long enough ago that it's been 24 months since you got the
Yeah.
bonus.
What if it was one of those tiered bonuses where you get,
No
you know
idea.
how they do every now and
Yeah.
then where you get like 50,000 after 3K spend and then another like
Yep.
20K after a year of whatever
Right.
spend. Yeah. We don't know
I
whether
don't
that
know.
second one is a trigger or not, do we?
No, I would assume that it's 24 months from whatever the last part of the welcome bonus
From the,
was.
yeah.
I would
I
think, but
mean,
I don't know. I could be wrong, but I would think.
right.
Okay.
I would think so too, but we just don't know for
We
sure.
just don't know. Okay, great. So next question up, Tyler asked, and I'm gonna start the timer after I read you the question. Can you tell me if there's an easier path to one world status through a program that I'm missing? Would like to use the F1 lounges domestically. F1. I'm not sure what F1 lounges are, and I believe that's the only option unless
First class.
First class. Okay. All right.
Oh.
So. That makes sense. So I believe that's the only option unless I've missed something. So what's the easier path to one world elite status? Go.
I don't have any idea.
You don't have any idea. The American Airlines loyalty point game.
but he wants to use the lounges domestically, and American Airlines status is not going to get him into those lounges domestically, is it?
Well, it won't get him into.
Oh, I guess when he's flying
lounges.
Internationally, it will. Yeah.
Yeah. Internationally.
Okay. All right.
Or would it get him in domestically, like to the foreign, like the Qantas first class lounge, for instance? Do you have to be flying internationally?
If he's flying domestically? I don't know. Maybe.
I'm not sure.
But you're right. American Airlines getting one world status with American Airlines these days because of how they're doing loyalty points is relatively easy. And, just pay attention to all the random weird bonus deals that we're writing about all the time, where you can sign up for getting shipments of wine or shipments of food preparation things. Or
time's up, Greg. Time's up.
Magazines.com.
Makes sense. All right. Carl says, what are your favorite properties to use Hyatt Suite Upgrade Awards at after the recent peak pricing and category changes? I'm not really sure that peak pricing and category changes has a lot to do with it, but what are your favorite Hyatts to use Suite Upgrade Awards at? Go.
Yeah, I mean, so years ago, I used to go often to the Hyatt Regency Grand Cypress in Orlando, and I really like the suite upgrades there because the standard suite upgrade gets you into basically two individual rooms that have a connecting door, and it's just that one of them has a couch instead of a bed, and but they both have full bathrooms. And so when traveling with the family, especially when it was like my teenage son and a friend of his, it was fantastic way to really get two rooms for the price of one with just that upgrade. What about you?
My very quick answer to that is my favorite place to use a suite upgrade is the place I'm staying next. Like, it's
whatever you're using,
wherever I'm using. Yeah. I mean, I don't think there's
Yeah.
a particular hotel that I get excited about returning to for their suites. It's more so like, oh, there's a suite in the city that I'm going to. Awesome. I'm going to book that one. So I think that's the best answer I can give you.
Right.
All right. Time. Go ahead.
Oh,
next one.
From Derek. Are you guys still excited about the AA loyalty games? Haven't heard as much about that lately on the site.
Okay, timer's going. I'm less excited than I was in the beginning, I guess, if I'm being truthful about it, I think. But that's mostly because we haven't seen as many opportunities to pick up a lot of points at once, though there's still been some good ones. And so I need to get back into it. I'm going to get a little bit more excited because I'll eventually be flying British Airways in the fall. And I'm hoping that I'll be able to have elite status that will get me into their first class lounge there. So I'm hoping to reach that level by the fall anyway. But somebody asked, I think in the questions on the post, who's ahead? And I think Tim is comfortably ahead at this point because last I knew he was like 1,000 points short of platinum maybe it was. And Greg and I think are both still at gold, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely am. I'm in my 36,000 or something like
Oh
that
my
range.
goodness. Oh wow.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah. I'm
I'm at
way
like
back there.
53,
Is that
54.
right?
So
Yeah.
yeah, I need to get on the
Yeah.
horse.
Yeah.
Okay.
So similar answer to you. It's sort of becoming a little bit of a slog just because it's going slowly. We're not seeing those big deals regularly.
Right, right. All right, next question up. Any suggestions on which credit card programs or specific airline miles to concentrate on for business class flights from the Northeast, like DC, New York City, Boston, to Japan and Korea? Ever since Chase dropped Korean Air, the best I found is to redeem American Airlines miles for Japan Airlines awards. But are there others? Redeem Virgin Atlantic or Amex or Marriott for ANA award flights. What are the best options that come to your mind from the East Coast to Korea? Go.
I mean, I think Nick is probably a better one to answer that, but off the top of my head, I'd say ANA is a great one to go for. They
Yep.
have great prices on their own awards, and so um, I would look there first. But what do you
Yeah.
think, Nick?
I think peak on ANA is either 90 or 95,000 round trip in business class. So if you can find availability on ANA, that's great. If you fly Star Alliance Partners, you pay whatever that peak price is any time of year. Now, if you can catch off peak, it'll be even less than that 90 or 95,000 miles
Right.
round trip in business class. So that's going to be your very best deal. Your second best deal, I think, is going to be using Alaska miles to fly on Japan Airlines. You'll pay even fewer miles to fly on Japan Airlines than you would with American. I think it's 60,000 one way in business or 70,000 one way in first, if I remember correctly. And Cathay Pacific would be the same thing. I think 60 or 70,000 business or first class, again, via Alaska. So Alaska is going to be your very best deal. Otherwise, ANA, I agree with Greg.
Oh, great
Okay.
answer. I don't know how I forgot about Alaska. All right. Let's see. Are we on to Jose?
Mhm.
Jose says, I can think of four sources of stackery. I love that word on each purchase. Points earned from airlines, hotels, points, statement credits earned from card spend, shopping portals, and Visa, MasterCard linked offers. Am I missing any?
Okay, so that's very good stackery. I like it. So if you're buying something, you can be earning airline or hotel points. You could be earning statement credits from card linked offers. But the thing is, there are certain card linked offers that stack. So one card linked offer might not be the only one you can do. Steven has a great post on that. So he hopefully will pop a link in the chat box. Excuse me, or you can go to Frequent Miler and look up like which programs stack. You can do card linked offers, which programs stack, and you'll find the post that he wrote. So sometimes you'll be able to trigger, for instance, Dosh and another thing, and also use an Amex offer or whatever the case may be. So sometimes those card linked offers stack. So that's the next level of stackery I would think about. The other thing now, of course, is the curve card. If you can accept the oddities of the curve card, that's another 1% you can stack on top.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Another thing, I mean, I get the impression Jose is already aware of this, but another way to stack is to do all those stacking things to buy gift cards
Right.
and ideally at a discount, but and then go through the portals again and use the gift cards and so you get sort of a double stack in a way.
Sometimes. All right.
Sometimes, right?
Sometimes, yeah. All right. Let's see. Bob says, I used to be able to select seats on American Airlines flights when purchasing the flight through British Airways using avios. You could purchase the flights on British Airways, then get the flight number. I think it was the confirmation number, and then go to American Airlines and enter the British Airways confirmation number, the American Airlines, enter some confirmation number, and that would enable you to reserve seats on the American Airlines flight. I think that ended 2 or 3 years ago. Any suggestions to use avios for American Airlines and still select seats in advance? Your minute starts now.
I just don't know the current state of this, so I can't help. Sorry.
I thought that you couldn't either. And I mentioned that in a post at some point in the last 6 months. And people in the comments said that they've messaged the Twitter team and been able to add their American Airlines number to it. And so then they've been able to get free bags, or I thought seat selection, though I could be wrong about the seat selection portion of it because I haven't booked an American Airlines award with British Airways Avios in years either.
Is that the whole trick, is getting your American Airlines number attached? Because the
I
old
thought
way,
so, but
the old way of getting One World numbers attached was, I think,
Thin
Finnair's
Air was,
website
yeah.
let you put them in. So I don't know if that still works, but that might be something too that you could do. But
There you go.
yeah, Twitter
So
would probably be easier.
yeah, and try the Twitter team. All right.
Yeah. All
So
right,
next,
Susie.
yep.
Susie says, could you show me the motions of how you do the $20 sandwich tip? Are you shaking their hand and planting it in their palm,
Oh,
placing the bill on the counter while you make a request? What are you doing? What are you doing, Nick?
well, let's see if I've got my emergency cash in my wallet or not. I usually have an emergency $50 or $100 bill in here just in case. So that's what we're going to do this with. Yes, I do. Awesome. So the sandwich is this. Let me pick a card where you're not going to see my entire card number. So what you do is you take your ID, right? So I got my ID here, and your credit card. Okay, got my credit card right here. And in between the ID and the credit card, you take your cash. Okay, so the cash that goes in between. So it's like, a sandwich. So there's money in the middle, credit card, ID, and you hand it to the desk agent. So you get your credit card or your ID on one side, credit card on the other, and you say, are there any complimentary upgrades available? And they take it. And as they look at your ID and your credit card, they find the money in the middle and tell you, yes, there are. Or if there aren't, I've always heard that they're good about giving you the cash back and saying, no, there aren't any, and giving it back to you. So I haven't actually had that situation happen, but as I understand, they typically will give you the money back.
That's good to know. I did not know that part.
But I've only ever done that in Las Vegas, because that's like long been a Las Vegas thing. If you Google a $20 sandwich trick, you'll find a million sites mentioning it for Las Vegas. Never ever tried that anywhere else.
Right. I mean, if you tried it somewhere like Minnesota, they would just be like, "Oh, you accidentally put 20 in here," and they would
exactly.
they would hand it back.
Exactly. Yeah. That's exactly what would happen. So, yeah.
In New York City, it would just be gone. Sorry, sorry, New Yorkers.
No, none of those complimentary upgrades available. Sorry. Oh, okay. Let's see. So next question up, Jerry says, I've noticed Amex has not been offering any lucrative upgrade bonuses on the co-branded Delta or Hilton cards. I have a no-fee Hilton and an Aspire and wanted to upgrade the no-fee card to have 2 Aspires. I received a laughably low 5,000 SkyMiles upgrade offer to upgrade my Delta Platinum to the Reserve. So what do you think there, Greg?
Was there a question here?
Well, yes. The question was basically like, what's up with these upgrade bonuses? Are they ever going to happen again? Do you have any thoughts about that? There wasn't a question there, but I think the question was meant to be, what's up with that?
What's up with that? I don't know. I've had Delta cards for years and years that I've like upgraded, downgraded all the time, and it's only been very rare that I've gotten decent upgrade offers on those. Hilton used to be pretty like dependable, but if they're not doing it all the time anymore with Hilton, I guess that doesn't surprise me. Like,
I think everybody knew that. Everybody knew that was just a carousel for years, and it was just a way to kind of print points. And so I think they've just kind of either temporarily paused it or stopped it on the Hilton cards. I mean, the good news is they're doing it on other cards. I saw reports this week of lots of people getting it on the everyday to the everyday preferred 40,000 point upgrade offers. And I think that they've still been out there on other cards as well. So I don't know. The short answer to the question here is we don't know what their plans are or intentions or
what's up with that. We don't know.
All right. So Devin asks, what redemptions are you most looking forward to? You got a minute. I'm turning on the timer this time. So get a minute. What are you most looking forward to?
No, I have to think. Well, I'm still hoping to do that ANA Round the World Business Class Award redemption at some point. And so if I ever get, kick myself in the butt and actually do it, I'm really looking forward to that. As far as things booked, I'm really, really looking forward to, I had booked that United Airlines deal when they had 70K one way to New Zealand. So I think all signs are pointing towards us actually doing that trip. So I'm very excited about that. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So
Very good.
Yeah.
I'm
How
going
about
to
you?
jump in and just answer very quickly that I mentioned I have a trip coming up. I'm booked in American Airlines flagship first with my wife and 2 kids. So we've got 3 out of the 8 seats on a flagship first flight. So I'm excited about that. I'm only going to talk about ones I actually have booked. I'm excited about that, not because I expect American Airlines to be incredibly luxurious, but more so because I expect the experience to be kind of cool, something that I wouldn't have expected to do with an entire family. So we'll write more about that, hopefully, one way or another. Hopefully it will be less disappointing than I anticipate. So we'll see. All right. So next
All
question
right.
up. Andrew asks, new to the Amex Eco. Oh, wait, hang on a second. Did I miss a question there? Or was that
No,
just
no, you're good.
okay? Andrew says, new to the Amex ecosystem, who are the best transfer partners for each of the 3 airline alliances to use for domestic flights based in Chicago, if that helps? So he's wondering, out of the transfer partners, which are the best ones? So the best One World for domestic flights, the best Star Alliance for domestic flights, the best Sky Team for domestic flights. Go.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Um, so, so you're probably going to get the best on Sky Team. You're probably going to get the best pricing for nonstop flights with Virgin Atlantic, but you're very rarely going to find availability at all. So you might actually consider transferring to Delta when when their prices aren't through the roof for Sky Team. Let's alternate. What do you think about? Why don't you do Star Alliance?
I knew you'd say that. The best in terms of the best pricing is Turkish, because you'll pay 7,500 miles each way to fly anywhere in the US where you've got domestic United.
Oh wait,
Sabre
we're in
availability.
Amex though.
Oh, we're in Amex. I'm
We're in
sorry,
Amex
Amex
world.
ecosystem. Okay, so Avianca Life Miles then would be my pick for Star Alliance. For United. Now, I say that with a little bit of hesitation because they don't always show everything available that they should. But when they do, you're based in Chicago, so zones 1 and 2, which is going to be the majority of the U.S. except the West Coast, you're going to be able to fly for 10,000 miles each way in economy or 15,000 each way in business class, or less, because some routes will just randomly price less. So that would be my pick, Avianca Life Miles.
Yeah, yeah. For One World, I guess we're with British Airways, avios. As far as transfer partners, it would probably be the best pick.
Yep, I think
Yeah.
so. Probably. The problem, of course, is that it's going to be priced based on distance, like for each segment. So you're going to pay separately for each segment, but that's
which is the same problem with Virgin Atlantic and booking Delta.
Yep.
Yep. And yeah, okay.
Yep.
Good enough for that one.
I think so.
Yep.
All right, so let's see. Jose asks, do I need to have my Amex account closed for 7 years before I can receive another sign-up bonus, or merely let 7 years pass since my last sign-up bonus? So does it need to be closed for 7 years? 7 years since your sign-up bonus? Maybe you should explain
Jose's
what he's even talking about here.
Yeah, Jose's asking about the Amex lifetime rule, which says you can't get a bonus for this card if you've had the card before. And Jose's heard that, well, if you haven't had the card for 7 years, that they forget about you after 7 years, which seems to be accurate to some degree. It's you have to have closed it. It's not when you signed up. The 7 years have to be from the time of closing. That said, we have data points of the Amex forgetting that you've had cards before in less than 7 years, and we don't know what the magic formula is, because I had a situation where my wife had signed up for or had canceled a platinum card longer ago than I had, and I was able to sign up without getting the pop-up, and I got the sign-up bonus, and she wasn't, and then it took another 6 months or a year before she was able to sign up. So, but yeah, I think for us, it was in the 4 or 5 year range that it worked.
So 4 or 5 years since you closed it, or 4 or 5 years since you
closed it?
Closed it, yeah.
Since we closed it.
Yeah. I think that's probably what the answer is going to be. It's going to be since you've closed it, because they have to kind of forget that you ever had it before. So
right. The other thing to know is there are a lot of like targeted offers that float around that have none of that lifetime language stuff in the offer itself. So every now and then when you get a targeted offer to you, check to see whether the offer terms say you're not eligible if you've had this card before. If it doesn't say that, you probably can sign up and get the bonus.
Yep. Yep. And if it's online, it's easier to do like a control F and look for that boilerplate language. If you just look for the regular application, it says something like the welcome bonus not available to those who have or have had this card before. So I'll do a control F, and you have to double check on the exact wording. I'll do a control F and then search for have or have had or whatever the exact wording is there, and see if I can find that in the offer terms. And if you don't find that in the offer terms, then it's probably not there. You could read the whole thing if you really want to read the whole thing. But if you get the physical mailer, it might be a little harder. Take you a few extra minutes to read through and make sure that's not in there. But
yeah, although even with a physical mailer, they usually give you a URL and a code, so you can probably go to that URL and look there.
Makes sense. Yep. Greg's a smart guy. That's why he's the boss, guys. So number 29, Laura says, my husband has the Amex Business Platinum and was targeted for the 160,000 Amex Business Platinum. Again, the 160,000 point welcome bonus on that. Can he apply for the second Business Platinum with another business we have and not the one he already has the Platinum with?
Yeah, he can. The way it's worded, it makes it seem like it's just for the same business that he already has on there. But yeah, they'll let you sign up under another business. That should be fine.
Yep. Okay. Good answer there.
All right. Trevor S. Have you used your $50 Travelbank credit from the IHG card?
All right. This one's for Greg because I have not upgraded to the Premier card. I still have the IHG Classic card, the $49 card that does not come with the IHG or with the United Travelbank credit. So have you used it, Greg?
All right. Well, it wasn't that long ago that I upgraded my Select card to the Premier so that I could qualify for this. And then I did whatever magic you have to do to link the accounts. I never even checked yet to see whether the credit appeared in my United account. So no, I haven't used it.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't booked I have a whole bunch of United Travelbank credit that I haven't used. I haven't booked a paid United flight here now in quite a while. So I wouldn't have used it. I wouldn't have even had an opportunity yet to have used it, even if I had it. So
all right. Well, Jennifer has a question for you.
Okay.
Can one hold two Capital One Venture cards? I have an old Venture from 2015 and would love to get the new sign-up bonus. Or is there a downgrade path to get the new sign-up bonus?
Yeah, you can have two. You can have two. I've heard of people having two of a number of the different Capital One cards now. So, yep, if they'll approve you for another one, then yeah, you can get the bonus again. So you don't have to downgrade or change. You can search in your account. There's a place for upgrades that may show up or may not. If you hit there's like a bunch of options up at the top, and one of them is more settings or something or more stuff, and you click that. You can look through, and you may find a link in there to upgrade your card. And I throw the air quotes up there with upgrade because it's really product change. Capital One calls it an upgrade no matter what. So you might upgrade your old Venture card to a Venture One with no annual fee. I don't know why they call that an upgrade. It's obviously a downgrade. But if you find that link in there, which it may not exist, it may not be there. There's a very good chance it isn't. But if you find the upgrade link anyway, then you may be able to product change it yourself if you really want to, but you don't have to. Of course,
now,
getting approved.
If she gets approved for the new one, then she would definitely want to upgrade the old one to the fee-free card, right? Because there's no reason to have two Venture cards that I can think of.
No, I can't think of a reason for that either. Not two regular Venture cards. No, and the other thing to note on that though is I would probably wait and see if you're approved for the second one before you do it, because after product changing, I found that the product change options don't exist again for a while after that. So I don't think you'll be able to product change right back like you could with Chase. If you downgraded, usually you could call a week later and upgrade again if you wanted to. With Capital One, it's like agents only see the same stuff you see online. So there's not anybody that's going to be able to help you product change to something if you don't see the product change option yourself. Probably.
Right.
There's a little caveat there, but anyway, that's essentially the answer. Apply for the new one, then try to upgrade your old one.
There you go. All right. Next question is from Marta. At what point do you need to give Chase a break in getting new cards, even if still under 524? Also, any non-Chase business card recommendations? So let's take these separately.
Okay.
What point do you give Chase a break? Are they getting tired of approving you for cards? What's going on?
I mean, I think that if they're willing to approve you for another card, then there's no sense in giving them a break. If they wanted a break, they'd take a break and they would stop approving you, right? So there's no need
That's
to.
what I think too. If
give them
they're
a break.
approving you, then keep going.
Yeah.
How do you know when to take a break? Is when they won't approve you
Right,
anymore. And they're
right.
not going to do anything bad to you. So yeah.
Yeah. So that's that.
Um,
So what are your non-Chase business card recommendations? Somebody who's not interested in the business cards, can't qualify for them one reason or another. What are the best non-business cards issued by Chase?
Off the top of my head, any non-Chase, not issued by Chase.
Non-Chase business card. I misunderstood that. So business card recommendations that are not issued by, or business cards that are not issued by Chase, because most of those business cards don't add to your 524 count.
Right. So yeah, I mean, geez,
really depends on what you need.
Just go to the best offers page and look at the best business cards on the right there of the screen, and see which ones make sense for you. I mean, there's some great sign up bonuses on the Amex side, and you could get a lot of great stuff with Amex, and that's where I would probably start off the top of my head, but no, I would go to the page and look.
Yeah, I mean, to reiterate what Greg is saying, you go to frequentmiler.com, and up in the top menu bar, there's something that says best credit card offers. You just click on that, and that'll take you to the page with the best current credit card offers. And up at the very top of that page, there are two lists: the best personal cards on the left side, the best business cards are on the right side. And I say the best, they're the best offers. So that's all calculated by first year value based on the value of the welcome bonus, based on our reasonable redemption values, which are intentionally on the conservative side. And it subtracts any annual fee in that you'll pay in that first year, and subtracts the points you could have earned, or the cash back you could have earned on a 3% cash back card. So the cost of doing the spend on that card to meet the welcome bonus, and it determines which ones are the most valuable in the first year. Now, a card that's probably fairly high on that list is the Wyndham Business Card, but that card won't be worth anything to you if you don't want Wyndham points. So even though the first year value may be high, it may have no value to you. So that's why Greg says you got to look at the list and see which ones meet your needs.
Right. And if what you mean by recommendations is not how to get a lot of points, but rather, what's the best to use because it's rewarding, there's a couple other pages you should look at. One is best cards for everyday spend, and that sort of ranks cards based on what cards give you the best value, irregardless of category bonuses existing or not. It's just for you. They give you like one great return on your spend, sort of like how Capital One has their miles card that gives you 2 miles per dollar everywhere. The other one to look at is our best category bonuses page. Tell you the best cards to use at grocery stores, office supply stores, and so on. And that way, depending on your needs, what do you spend money on? You could figure out what card makes sense, and just look for the business cards within those lists.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many. We could sit here and rattle off offers all day long, and 90% of them won't be applicable for you. So hard to say. You really have to look through it, what makes sense for you. All right. Brian asks a follow-up question on the Capital One question. This one's probably going to be one for me to answer, but Brian says, do you know if it's possible to transfer the cash back from my wife's Spark card to my Spark card, thereby allowing me to later convert it to miles through the website? Because you could transfer it online between your own accounts, while still retaining the ability to just take it as straight cash back. So what Brian wants to do is move cash back from his wife's Spark Cash card to his Spark Cash card. That way he's got the opportunity to take it as cash back if he wants, or to use the Capital One website to move it to miles on, say, his Venture card or Venture X card. And that should be possible. I think it's possible. I haven't actually done that because I don't have a cash back card with Capital One in my name. So I haven't actually moved cash back from my wife's cash back card to my cash back card, but I'm like 85 to 95% sure, somewhere in there, that ought to work. So I think so.
Yeah, it would be very strange if they allowed you to move cash back to miles
and not
across people, and not cash back to cash back.
I would think it'd be strange too. And you'll know, like, in a quick phone call. Because like I said, I haven't yet run into an agent with Capital One that didn't know. And we've done this a bunch of times. And my wife hasn't once called and had somebody who was like, oh, I don't know if you can do that. I'm not sure how to do it. It's always been like okay, yeah, I can do that. And it's like literally a 4-minute phone call, and she's off it, and the stuff's already transferred. So you'll know with one quick phone call whether or not it's possible.
All right.
Let us know.
Next one. I think this is going to be the last one.
I think so.
We have a data point and follow-up question from Stephen. After badgering Capital One for the better half of the last 2 years, was successful in reclassifying my Quicksilver from a Platinum MasterCard to a World Elite MasterCard. Is there any path to then convert it to a Venture or preferably a franken-venture X?
I know what he means.
I know Nick did something similar. Also have a Saver One card. So, all right, what does he mean by franken-venture X?
Well, what he means by franken-venture X is, so a few years ago, I wrote about how I had some old garbage Capital One card, and it was like it showed up online like it was a Quicksilver card, but it wasn't. It was like a platinum, a Capital One Platinum Mastercard that earned 1.5% cash back everywhere, like the Quicksilver card, but it definitely was not a Quicksilver card. So it was just some garbage card that had a $39 annual fee. It was like my first card that I had gotten years ago.
Yeah.
And I kept it. And what I did was I eventually found I was able to upgrade that to a venture card through that process that we're talking about. I found the product upgrades in my online account. And so they product changed it to a venture card. But the interesting thing is that the card was, again, a Platinum Mastercard. And so when they converted it to a venture card, it became a Mastercard venture card, which is interesting because the venture card is a Visa card if you were to apply for one new. So I think that's what he means by a Franken Capital One venture card, because I have one of the rare Capital One Venture Mastercards out there, so I can use it for the AA loyalty points games, for instance. So I don't know.
You could use it with your Curve card.
With your Curve card, exactly. Yes. I don't know that that's possible to do with the Venture X. I don't know if I was just a weird anomaly. There's a lot of interestingness in terms of how that all happens, though, because you mentioned changing from a Platinum Mastercard to a World Elite Mastercard. My parents have an old Capital One card that is not a venture card, but it earns 2 miles per dollar. It used to earn 1.25, but they had a customer service issue at some point, and the person promised them that their card would earn 2 miles per dollar for the rest of their lives with no annual fee, and it does. And
that's awesome.
And the odd thing is that it says business, like business Visa on the back, or no, professional Visa is what it says. It's not a business card. They've never owned a business, but it says professional Visa on the back instead of a Visa signature. It's not a Visa signature. I've tried with Visa signature stuff to see if it would work with it, and won't. So I know Capital One has some weirdness, is what I'm saying, in terms of how they handle those kinds of product changes. So I think it's not impossible. I could envision a world where maybe you could upgrade it to a Venture X and keep the MasterCard designation, but I don't know whether that's possible. And I think it's only going to be possible if you can either find it online. There's another way to find those upgrade offers online. If you Google around, maybe you'll find it. And so if you check for that, then, maybe, or if you call, maybe you'll be able to product change it. You'd need to have at least a $10,000 limit. They won't let you product change to the Venture X unless your credit limit is at least $10,000. So if it's not $10,000, I guess you're going to have to try and get your credit limit increased first before you even try. And like I said, I don't know if you'll be able to do it.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. So Nick, how do I change my Amex Gold card to a Mastercard? That's what I want to know.
Wouldn't we all like to know that? I want to know too. It was an accident that I stumbled into the Mastercard venture card as it is. So I have no idea, Greg. I don't think it's possible.
It's not possible. No. All right. I think that wraps it up.
Okay.
It's been a fun hour. We got through a lot of questions. 34 questions. Nice.
Yeah, good night. All right. Thank you guys very much for being out there with us. We always enjoy having you here. Check out the podcast if you're not already. Frequent Miler on the Air comes out every Saturday.
Yep. See you then. Bye, everyone.